fractions are just parentheses with a line plus parentheses with a line, let's say equals. So I did this once. See if I can do this again, that I picked the right numbers. I picked 2 and I picked 3. So what I wanted it to be was a half and a half equals 1. So 1 over 2 is 1/2. You can't get a half out of a third, but if you had 3 up here, 3 over 6 is a half, right? So this is 1/2 plus 3/6 equals 1. Now the way you do this to prove it to yourself is you get these common denominator things. So look at the bottom first. 2 go into 6? Yes, so 6 gets to be the common denominator. Heard a great joke. The little girl says, Dad, you got 1/2 and you got 3/6. What's the least common denominator? And Dad says, you mean they still haven't found that yet? What's the least common denominator? Anyway. So 1/2, you got to do it the same to match that. So 2 goes into 6 how many times? 3. So see, over here, it's the same, 6 and 6, so you keep it the same. But in order to put this into the least common denominator thing, notice it's the same thing. 3/6, that's a half. 3/6, that's a half. So 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. So don't be afraid of fractions. This is our nuclear stuff when we're adding fractions. Remember what we were doing this for? Minus 1/3 minus 1/3 plus 2/3. That's what the neutron, what am I saying? Not neutron. This is the down quark, up quark, which equaled the neutron. So when we add them, -1/3 minus 1/3 comes out to be minus 2/3. And then when you add the up quark plus 2/3, you end up with minus 2/3 plus 2/3, 0/3. Not 3 over 0. So the electronic charge on a neutron is 0. The proton now. Remember the up quark. So I like my color coding here. Plus 2/3 is an up. Plus 2/3 is the other up. And then minus 1/3 is the down. So if you write it out, don't be afraid to keep writing stuff out. You got 2/3 plus 2/3 is 4/3 minus 1/3. See the way the 3's are by themselves, so just work straight across. 4 minus 1 is 3. So 3 over 3, 3/3, 3 1/3, although we're not counting thirds here. 3/3 equals 1. So it's plus 1 is the charge on the proton. Do that. So don't be afraid of fractions. Next thing I got to show you is how to graph an equation. At least if you get out of high school and know this little bit of science, you won't be intimidated, and believe me, half the people in the world will think you're a genius because you know a little bit. You can do fractions. So to graph an equation, what you got, say if somebody says x equals 1. Well, that's just a point. X is 1. It's not 2, it's not 3, it's not 4. Okay, okay? That's a number line issue. So you got 0, you got 1, so that'd be a point there, right? 1. What we want to do is graph an equation, because this is the same thing as x minus 1 is going to equal 0. Because whatever the equal sign is, you do the same thing to both sides. People forget that. That's where this all comes from. So in order to make an equation, the best one to start with is x equals y. So what you get to do now is make your graph here. That's the y-axis. That's the x number line. Okay? Positive, negative, positive, negative. So if x equals y, this is when algebra's fun. This is why you kids should learn this early in 5th grade. Pick 3 values for x and plug it into the equation. So you make a little xy box. If x is 0, well, x equals y. So if x is 0, y is 0. And that gives you a point system here that you just write as 0 for x. I'll call it the xy thing. So if x is 0, y is 0, that's called the origin. So you put a point there. Now, what if x equals 1? Well, y equals 1, because that's what the equation says. So that's your point here of 1, 1. So you go over 1 to the x, 1 up to the y, and you put a dot there. Now, we're going to draw a line through, so a third test point is always a good one. So say x is 5, well, y is 5. So that means if you go over 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Point there. See, the graph goes through. So to test it again, what if x is negative 3? Well, then y must be negative 3. You look on your thing here and you go, okay, this is x, so minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Y, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So if you came over, you see that point would line up. So this is real simple. X equals y is called a linear equation. And the whole idea is, because they don't write this for beginners, but it's x to the first power and y to the first power. And I didn't get this till it was too late in my grading scheme. Okay, that's like old-fashioned stuff, right? Lines. What we want to do is get curves. Real men study curves. So in order to get a curve now, we'll do it this way. Y equals x squared. That's square up there. Now when you do your xy box, it's always fun to pick 0. That's an easy one first. So if x is 0, 0 squared is still 0, so y is 0. That means it goes through the origin, right? Your graph, you got 1 point right there. This is where that negative positive thing of square roots comes in. If x is 1, 1 times 1 is 1. So that doesn't help us much, because it still looks like the linear equation, right? This is why you got to know the difference. Anytime there's a power up there, it's going to be a curve, unless it's 1 or 0. So let's pick a bigger number. If x is 3, now it's 3 squared equals y, and that is 3 times 3. Not 3 times 2, 3 times 3. So that's going to be 9. So see here, if you go out 3 places for x, you're already way up there on number 9 for y. So what you see is it's going to be a curve. But now what happens on the other side? This is why you got to pick a negative number. So let's pick negative 3. And what you memorize, a negative times a negative is a positive. So negative 3 squared equals negative 3 times negative 3. It's going to equal a positive 9. So now when you come over negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, you're still going to be up there at 9. So see the shape of that graph there? It's a curve. Goes down to 0. So the big thing I want you to know about the graphing is there's only 3 shapes you're going to find. If y equals x to the first power, it's a line. Straight linear line. If y equals x to the second or the fourth or the sixth, anything even we call 2 to the n. 2n, any number you pick, double it, it's going to be an even number. Okay? So that is a curve. Show you red here. Like we just did, it's going to be a curve going up that way. And then on the negative side of y, it's going to go up that way. So when you do this, this curve can be moved down when you just add numbers or take away from the equation. Now this is the kicker. When it's an odd number power, okay, say that y equals x to the third. And to make it odd, you call it 2n plus 1. So anytime you double any number and add a 1 to it, it's going to make it an odd number. Call this odd. And what this does is the same just about on this side, because big numbers for little x bring it down to 0. But now instead of coming up, they go down. So the whole thing you want to know about graphing equations is that the 3 shapes are linear, both ends going up, or the x cubed to the 5th to the 7th. Up and down, and up again, or coming down that way. Origin, origin, origin. 3 types of general graphs that there are. So if you get those basics down, you'll know enough of the basics. The headless and the head full scientist. Oh.